So Chelsea Manning got a 35-year sentence for revealing some of our so-called secrets to WikiLeaks. That, of course, was an outrage because it let the American people know exactly how many civilians we had killed in Afghanistan and Iraq and how we had killed some civilians and reporters, information that the government did not want the American people to know. So they put her away for 35 years. But an interesting and surprising twist on this story. Now, after she was convicted, she came out and said, I'm not Bradley Manning, I'm actually Chelsea Manning, and I felt this way for a long time, and I would like to transition to that. And we thought, oh my God, she's in military detention centers, so they're not going to let her do that because right now the Military Defense Department does not recognize transgender people. It does not allow them to serve in the military, even though there's an independent study put on by a former U.S. Surgeon General that indicated there's about 15,000 transgender people in the U.S. military. Now, what's surprising is they're actually considering letting Chelsea Manning go to a federal prison so that she can actually go through this transition. Now, there's three parts to that. There is the real life experience where you start dressing as the female that you believe you are and have always felt that way. You can get hormone therapy, that's step number 2, and number 3 is sex reassignment surgery. Now, you couldn't do that in a military prison, but you could do it in a civil prison if you were transferred to the civilian side. Now, that might partly explain why Chuck Hagel seemed like out of the blue earlier this week had said this.
The issue of transgender is a bit more complicated because it has a medical component to it. These issues require medical attention. Austere locations where we put our men and women in many cases don't always provide that kind of opportunity. I do think it continually should be reviewed. I'm open to that, by the way. I'm open to those assessments because, again, I go back to the bottom line. Every qualified American who wants to serve our country should have an opportunity if they fit the qualifications and can do it. This is an area that we've not defined enough.
So that's interesting. Some lawyers are saying that if they don't allow them to do the gender reassignment, that it could be considered cruel and unusual punishment. That's a unique argument, an interesting argument. I'm not sure that Chuck Hagel is concerned about that, but perhaps he is. And look, if they do allow her to transfer, maybe it's just a PR move. But look, better that they do that than they don't allow her to transfer, so good, fine. Now, the reality is she shouldn't be in prison for 35 years. She's a classic whistleblower, and that's what she should be best known for, not a criminal, because she was trying to inform the American people, and the chain of command wouldn't let her do it. Now, given that she is in prison for a long time, of course they should transfer her to the Federal Bureau of Prisons. By the way, they do that for 15 to 20 military prisoners a year on average, so it's not something that's unprecedented. They don't normally do it in case of national security, but there's no reason why they couldn't do it. And multiple military doctors, by the way, have testified that, in fact, she does actually believe that she's Chelsea Manning and that it's real, that it's not made up. And by the way, it always drives me crazy. Why would they make that up? Like, why on God's green earth would you want to make that up, right? Like, Chelsea Manning's life wasn't hard enough serving 35 years for doing something brave and courageous. She's going to go the extra step of doing this, which is also incredibly courageous. She's not doing it for her health, well, except literally for her mental health, because that's who she actually is. And you've got to recognize that. And if the military actually does, small credit to them. And after they do that, they should immediately release her.